This Civic Media podcast is sponsored by UW Organ and Tissue Donation. Organ donations are desperately needed, and now is the right time to become an organ donor. Talk to your family. Get the dot. Save lives. Go to heroicdeed.com.
This is your WMDX Daily News Roundup for Mad Radio 92.7 FM and 1580 AM in Madison.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. A big mistake from the local city clerk's office. About 200 Madison ballots from the November presidential election were not counted. Staff from the Madison city clerk's office say they found the first batch more than 6 weeks ago on November 12th. They emptied the tabulator bin for Ward 65, and inside that bin was a sealed courier bag with 67 absentee ballots inside. There was also a ballot for Ward 68, which was a sorting error. The second batch of ballots was found during the reconciliation process. Clerks and staff start that right away after an election. That's when they essentially confirm voter participation totals. They ended up finding a sealed absentee carrier envelope with 125 ballots. The city clerk's office says they notified the Wisconsin Elections Commission on December 20th. The mayor's office says that's when they were notified as well. Now, these 193 ballots were not enough to change the results of any race. Those of you who live in wards 56, 65, and 68 might be wondering whether your vote was counted. The clerk's office says they're reaching out to every individual voter whose ballot was found to let them know and to apologize. The clerk's office says they fell short of their goal to make sure every eligible voter has their vote counted. Quote, "We apologize to our voters and will strive to make sure this never happens again," end quote. To prevent this in the future, the city clerk's office says they'll be giving every polling place a list of envelope seal numbers so they'll be able to verify that all were counted. Meanwhile, the mayor's office posted their own statement to the city website. It calls these mistakes a significant departure from the high standards of the Madison City Clerk's office. Mayor Satya Rhodes-Conway says her office will be starting a thorough review of the city's election policies and procedures. She says in order to keep that high standard of Madison's election integrity, she's committed to, quote, taking whatever corrective action is necessary. After Madison West High School's football team was mistakenly left out of the playoffs this year, coaches have gone to the drawing board to create a new playoff process. Here's Jimmy Kuska.
A proposal to change how Wisconsin high school football teams qualify for the playoffs and are organized by division has overwhelming support from coaches. The Wisconsin Football Coaches Association says of the 400 head coaches responding to a survey, 350 of them, or 87.5%, support the WFCA's proposal, which would eliminate computer algorithms from the playoff process. This year, the WIAA admitted it made mistakes in setting the playoff field, leaving out Madison West and Greenfield. Now the plan goes to committee and could be up for a vote as soon as February for implementation as soon as the fall of 2025. According to WIAA data, there are approximately 425 high school football programs in Wisconsin, of which 240 make the playoffs. I'm Civic Media Sports Director Jimmy Kuska for Civic Media News.
If you want to see the full proposal, you can go to WIFCA.org. The next step is a coaches advisory committee meeting on January 7th. And chances are you've got some leftovers in the fridge right now. Officials from the Department of Natural Resources say please eat them while you can because leftover food creates so much waste. DNR Organic Waste Management Specialist Ruth O'Donnell.
Recently, the organization ReFed estimated that on Thanksgiving, over 300 million pounds of food was wasted in the United States, and that represented more than $500 million of groceries thrown away.
If you're not quite sure how to repurpose what's in the fridge, a quick Google search could help you out. And some have already taken their trees down, while others will leave them up into the new year. Here in Madison, the Streets Division does 2 rounds of Christmas tree collection. The first starts on January 6th. The second begins on January 21st. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. You're listening to 92.7 WMDX News.
The Bucks drop one to the Nets. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Bucks lost at home to the Brooklyn Nets, 111-105. Damian Lillard and Giannis both out with what's described as a non-COVID illness. Doc Rivers says the Nets defense made the difference.
I thought the pressure got to us. I thought we didn't handle it very well. They sped us up. We broke our offense.
The Bucks travel to Chicago to play the Bulls tomorrow night. NFL, Packers holding practice for Sunday's game in Minnesota. Matt LaFleur asked about the status of defensive back Jair Alexander.
It's a broken record asking about Jair every day, but did you get to look at him today? And are his chances of playing this week better than last?
I'd say probably not.
What's standing in the way?
His knee. He was limited with his knee.
Is it just not reacting like you wanted to, or?
I don't know. I'm not a medical guy. I just go by what I see and what they tell me.
Men's college hockey, the Badgers take on Ferris State at 5 o'clock tomorrow night in the Holiday Face-Off at Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee. Wisconsin 7-10-1 for the season so far.
We'll have our work cut out from us from that standpoint. But for us right now, it's us getting our book of business done this week and being focused for the puck drop, finding a way to get that game in our side of the ledger.
That's the Badgers head coach Mike Hastings. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
The film Grosse Pointe Blank did not have a funny script, according to Minnie Driver. The New York Post reports that Driver, who played the lead role opposite John Cusack, said it was a consensus on the set that the script wasn't funny, so they took it upon themselves to improvise after clearing it with the studio. I wouldn't say the improvising made the film funny. Driver most likely did not get a Christmas card from the writer of Grosse Pointe Blank. Paul Hogan's Crocodile Dundee co-star has passed away at the tender age of 90. Crocodile Heaven just welcomed one of its best actors in Bert the Crocodile, who played opposite Hogan in the charming 1980s comedy that made everyone think they could pull off an Australian accent. Bert the Crocodile died at Crocosaurus Cove, sort of like the Beverly Hills retirement home for crocodiles in Australia. Bert's acting work was commended in the Crocodile franchise, but he had trouble landing roles afterwards, probably because of either bad representation, the fact that he was never good at auditioning, or there were just not enough roles written for crocodiles. In typecasting news, actor Jared Leto will play the role of Skeletor in the new live-action film Masters of the Universe. Leto is embracing the villain role as the skeleton who is a skull-faced arch-enemy of He-Man. The Oscar-winning actor and star of Dallas Buyers Club has agreed to join the project alongside director Travis Knight. Cast members already in place include Alison Brie and Idris Elba. Leto embraces playing outlandish characters. MGM Amazon is the studio behind the film, which opens June 5th, 2026. There are those who don't think COVID was real. 1923 actress Danielle Vasanova is not one of them. Vasanova starred in 1923, the Yellowstone prequel, and she was one of the first people to suffer from COVID-19 long before it became widespread. The actress said she was diagnosed with strep throat, but shortly after, her organs shut down, and she died for 3 minutes. Vasanova will star opposite Michelle Pfeiffer in a new Yellowstone spinoff called Madison. For more showbiz fun, tune in to Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
We have some dense fog this morning. It is going to be drizzly, foggy, cloudy here all day with rain likely by later this afternoon. Our high today, 44. Rain tonight, between 1/4 and 1/2 inch of rain possible with a low of 36. Tomorrow, some rain in the morning, some gradual clearing in the afternoon with a high of 44. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently, it's 42.
That's your WMDX Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at mad.radio. The national news cycle never stops, but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.